Card Games and hold on. Pow Card Games and Comics fans. Welcome back to another episode of the 20th anniversary review of Weekly Shonen Jump, Monthly Shonen Jump, whatever you want to call it. We are on the 11th issue, November 2003. We are full steam ahead, rolling here.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we've been doing this for 10 months because we didn't do number one.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I feel like we're feeling that, though, that we've done 10 of these.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. We're experts at this now.
Yeah. We keep saying that these episodes are going to be short from now on, and we'll see.
And they end up being the same length anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right. This cover is a lie. It's only lying a little bit, though.
Okay.
This is in here. This is in here. These are all in here. This is not in here. Meet Hikaru. You don't really actually even meet this character.
No.
They really tell you nothing about this character. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, moving on. The cover is kind of okay.
It's yellow.
This is a pretty bad shot of Yugi.
Yeah.
Can't really tell what's going on in the pose.
No.
And
it's very covered.
And his fist? When does he fist?
I don't know.
Doesn't he usually have cards in his hand?
Not to my knowledge. I guess we'll find out.
Oh, right.
I think this is the wrong
Why
hand.
is this? Jeez, I look like such a rookie now. All right. Right on the, going in the inside here. We got this ad for the False-Bound Kingdom. Just the reason why this is here is, this is big Yu-Gi-Oh game for the GameCube. Maybe the first Yu-Gi-Oh game for the GameCube, maybe the only Yu-Gi-Oh game for the GameCube, and it wasn't even Yu-Gi-Oh! It was some weird top-down RPG video game with Yu-Gi-Oh characters.
Oh,
they did these kinds of games quite often. We'll find out. There's some subscription stuff. And then this particular copy of this Jump is actually really clean compared to the other copies of Jump we've gone
this
through.
is all gone on the copy I read. I don't even know why.
For comparison, let's bring this over here. There's nothing here. I removed this. We can find out probably in a second why this is gone, because there'll be a cool picture here that I wanted or something. But this copy is much less used.
I think this is a cool format. It's a little confusing because you start here and go around.
No, that's clockwise.
Yeah. No, I just as a kid, I would start here probably or some shit. I don't know where I would start as a kid.
Yeah. I like the formatting of this a lot too.
Yeah.
Clip and mail.
Oh, that makes sense.
I tried to enter the sweepstakes. I assure you, Jump fans, I did not win anything. Especially not this grand prize that I didn't want anyway. I wanted to be... That's probably why I entered. I was like, there's no way I'm going to win this, but 25...
That shirt's pretty
That's
sick.
what I want, you know? And the third 100, all right, this is worth entering.
Yeah.
I'm going to point out the same things as usual over here, which is just that we have... what's her face?
Joe Duffy on Naruto.
Joe Duffy over here doing Naruto for us. Thank you, Joe Duffy.
Woo.
We like Joe Duffy here at the Weekly Wednesday Warrior at Pow Card Games and Comics. And then we have this thing called Preview, and it's showing Hikaru no Go. It's just telling us that this manga is coming. It doesn't tell you anything else.
Yeah.
But on the other side, aside from this PC game, this Yu-Gi-Oh! Is now on the GameCube, is on the PlayStation 2, is on the PC, is on the Game Boy Advanced. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has expanded. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has become a household name. Yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh's huge, and is getting bigger, only bigger, and mostly because of the other things that are around it, like Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z, which we're also going to see a bunch in this.
Right.
But here's the second part of this Hikaru no Go that they're saying is in here that isn't in here. And there's a lot of fluff here, but it's trying to tell you how to play Go a little bit, and if you already know how to play Go, this is a pretty accurate description of how to do that.
Right. And for a kid, especially if you're going to be dealing with a manga about Go, this is probably helpful, preamble.
Yeah. I didn't take anything out of here other than that.
Yeah. But I do like to keep in mind this is a magazine for teens under, probably.
Right.
So articles like this that are fluff but add something to their vocabulary, at least, I think are useful still.
Yeah.
We get a lot of just actually garbage fluff in here,
yeah,
so this is decent.
Keeping it short isn't a bad idea. Chris made a note that there's an artist and a writer on Hikaru no Go.
Yeah, one of the rare successful jump manga that does. It's on the first page.
That's what he's saying. Totally just ripped this book. By Yumi Hata, drawn characters by Takeshio, and suspenseful storylines by Yumi Hata. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. It's a rare occasion that there are like teams of people that help out mangaka. But
yeah, typically as assistants, not as a collaboration as we see in American comics very often.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting to me. So Jump, in an earlier issue, put out a sweepstakes to send like 4 or 5 people from the States out to the World Championship just for fun. And these people over here at the bottom won. And this guy, who's over here, actually got to like the finals of the Game Boy Advance portion. And so they interviewed him, and they did some other stuff, and they talked about the event. This is a fluff piece as well, but it's cool, again, to show how big Yu-Gi-Oh! Is right now.
Yeah.
This was at Madison Square Garden.
Holy crap.
And it was sold out. And that's huge. That's like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, huge event. 2003. People already eating up Yu-Gi-Oh! It says total number of attendees is 10,000 people. That seems low for Madison Square Garden. My numbers are skewed here, but anyway, so this is cool. There's nothing to really take out of here, though. It's like, did you have fun? Yeah, I had fun. But here's this first of many Dragon Ball Z ads that I think is sweet because it's just a badass looking character and some color.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this badass color and this badass character. Okay, buy our video game that doesn't probably even have this character in it.
Yeah, probably not. But you're seeing Dragon Ball in the Game Boy Advance, so
yeah,
much like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's all over the place right now.
And this is like the second or third game that they did on the Game Boy Advance because the first one was like Legend of Goku or something like that. So here is more Yu-Gi-Oh, more Dragon Ball Z. This is just some like, here's the cards coming and stuff like that. And most of them are Kaiba cards that you'll learn from the anime or if you read far enough of the manga. And so that's kind of a big deal. And getting some spoilers on the cards. The internet's out there now, but I don't know if it has enough space on it to contain this kind of information and find it easily. Right. So getting into the magazine is still a utility at this point in time. 20 years ago. So this was heavy spoilers. Maybe even this page got shared on the internet right after. So there's a bunch of cool stuff in here that might change the game a little bit, like Amazoness, monsters and stuff. And then we got Budokai 2, which is a weird ad because the next ad is for the first Budokai.
Yes. But it is actually kind of interesting because this is specifically for the PS2. Right. While the other ad is that the game is finally coming to GameCube.
Yeah. So
I think that just shows the market share at that point.
Yeah.
Which is fairly interesting. How prioritized the PS2 was.
Yeah.
How much more third-party support it had.
Well, and not just that, but it was easier to get OKs on PlayStation 2s and Xboxes to make a game because they were fairly similar in formatting and discs.
Yeah.
Whereas the GameCube had a smaller disc.
Yeah, it was like a tiny...
And so to make this game, you really had to know that Nintendo was going to buy your game. You didn't want to make a bunch of these games and not know that Nintendo was going to buy your game. So this was easier to come out on, whereas Nintendo, in a way, you had to prove yourself in order to be a portion of what their sales.
And you had to reformat your whole game.
Yeah,
from a different.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that are in the way that are competing you out. And then here's another page of really sweet cards coming out of Magician's Force, even more so like Breaker and Tribe of Infecting Virus. This card would be banned for a very long, long time. Sweet stuff for Yu-Gi-Oh fans, sweet stuff for Dragon Ball Z fans. And then we go straight into Yu-Gi-Oh! With some really, really rad colored pages. This being my favorite of them.
Yeah.
This is really, Kazuki Takahashi, again, rest in peace, this poor man. Look at him flexing those amazing monster-making muscles. Yeah. Making Kaiba look scared and still like a villain in the same image.
That sickly blue he's using is really nice there.
Yeah.
And it's flat blue, too. That's not like, he's not mixing with skin tone or anything. He's just dipping his brush, I guess, probably into the blue, putting that on the skin tone.
Yeah, just going for it.
Impressive.
And it works. Yeah, this is, he's in like a dream state. That's why we're getting those images. But anyway, this is a story about like Kaiba fooling Yugi, trying to get the better of Yugi, and it continues from our last chapter. Which there have been a lot of chapters that don't have a continuing storyline. And this is one of those chapters that it's ongoing, and it's bringing a character back as well, Kaiba being that character.
It's been ongoing for a while, though, because I feel like the last two jumps we've been dealing with setting up Kaiba's return, having Bokuba show up twice.
Yeah, but even more specifically, they're in the same setting, they're in the same place.
Yep.
So this is really ongoing. You really are building up this character and who they are. And in the process of that, maybe even mistakenly, are building up this game Magic and Wizards.
Yeah.
Because that becomes what Kaiba is really utilizing to torture Yugi and his friends. And his family. Some dope monster drawings again.
Yeah, we're going to see a couple of those. This was really...
They're in like an amusement park with 3D simulations going on, and so a lot of this stuff is supposed to look very real.
Yes.
And it does, at least to these guys.
So Kaiba has like Yugi's grandfather, and he's going to make him play the card game.
Yeah, and then he's going to lose, and he's going to rip up his favorite card and steal his soul or something. Yeah. The Hitsumi Giant. Hitsumi Giant. Yeah, all this, and the reason why there's monsters floating around Kaiba and his grandpa and stuff is because they're in like a 3D simulation pod where when you play a creature, it comes out of the card or whatever.
Yeah.
This is pretty cool conceptually, I'm not going to lie. Like, for a 13-year-old or like a 12-year-old or 14-year-old, this is pretty sweet stuff. Like, like, your imagination can go pretty crazy, you know, just looking at how rad these cards are and the fact that these monsters are coming out of the cards. It only encourages you to go and pick up these cards.
I think Kaiba adds a lot of energy to Yu-Gi-Oh! Too, in general. I feel like, especially the single self-contained chapters are really strong, but the last couple have been a little weaker.
Yeah.
And now that Kaiba's back, he kind of elevates the thing again. He's just so, like, malicious and entertaining in his like villainy. Yeah,
but even more interesting, he doesn't look as gross as all of the villains that Takahashi has put into this manga so far. Right?
Yeah,
he looks way more relatable and human than any of the other dudes that we've had. He looks even more human than his brother. His brother looks kind of creepy and nerdy.
He's a weirdo. I do like these blacked out eyes. It gives this like vague unsettling to him.
Yeah.
It's like just enough where he looks very human still, but you still get that. That's a really cool monster too.
Yeah, Takahashi knows where to put stuff. He's very good at this. So I'm not at all surprised that this anime, this manga, and then this card game took off as much as it did. As you can see its success already in just the line work.
Oh yeah.
Let alone everything else that comes out of this. And there's such feeling in this particular story too, with a lot of the themes that they've been carrying through Yu-Gi-Oh, which is friendship. Joey's going to join Yugi in this trial, and Honda's going to join, and at a point, simply by mistake, we're even going to get Anzu, who happens to be working at the place, which reminded me kind of Scott Pilgrim again.
Oh.
Right? Because this reminds me of like a character in Scott Pilgrim. What is it, Julie? She just works everywhere or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, but there are a lot of moments in Scott Pilgrim where you're reading and there's a stupid coincidence, and you know it's because Brian O'Malley needed to make the story work, so here's the stupid coincidence.
Or just wanted to put that character there.
Yeah, or like thought it would be funny if this coincidence was there, and like here's exactly one of those moments. Like, what are you doing here, you know? And then she's going to join them and help them out. And then Kaiba even goes to acknowledge that she's there and is pissed about it.
Yeah, I thought for a second it was part of his plan. He's like trying to psych them out. Their friend shows up.
Right here, he's like, who the hell is that hired girl? She's one of their friends?
Yeah.
Like, how did this escape him somehow?
Just uttering. And like he's hired all these mercenaries too, because They're going through these like amusement park games now, and the first one we're dealing with is laser tag. And to play laser tag, he's hired all these like assassins, ex-CIA.
Well, they're under the impression they're playing laser tag, but it seems more like Kaiba's hired these people to kill them.
Yeah,
under the guise that they're playing laser tag. So I'm excited to see how this pans out, which doesn't pan out in this issue.
We have to wait.
But what's worth looking at is these guys' names, the way they look and stuff like that. Like, without even looking at the descriptions, you can pretty much tell who these dudes are, right? Like, here's some American Marine-looking dude.
Yeah.
Here's maybe just like an American, like, Secret Service guy, or maybe just like some dumb hick from Texas or something.
Yeah.
Probably Japanese.
Right? Probably
And so they go down. Johnny Gale. He's an American Green Beret, guerrilla warfare, right? And then there's Bob McGuire, nationality American, former SWAT team guy, long distance sniper. And then there's this dude, nationality unknown, assassin. Target still living 0%. Don't these also remind you of like information from Scott Pilgrim?
Yes.
Like there was a couple things, maybe even more than I've already pointed out, that reminded me of Scott Pilgrim in here, which makes me think that O'Malley at a point in time probably read some Yu-Gi-Oh.
Probably.
And how not? This manga is actually pretty sweet for what it's not. It's not doing any service to what it's known for at the moment.
Yeah,
and so it's sweet in and of itself.
When I went to that Scott Pilgrim panel at New York Comic Con, he described his life prior to Scott Pilgrim as hopping around anime conventions. So he's definitely in the zeitgeist, and he definitely was reading manga around this time. If you see his pre-Scott Pilgrim illustrations from like 1996, they're very manga-esque with like a little Rob Liefeld in them.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, Yugi's gonna face off against this literal death squad in this
really cool
sweet grid up labyrinth. They rarely do splash pages in manga that look this good.
Yes,
it's usually a lot of mess.
This is probably not the best one in this volume of Shonen Jump.
No, but there are usually these splash pages are so much mess. This is so clean and nice.
Right, it's just nice shapes, a good grid underneath.
And then
a good grid is not easy to draw.
And then they get you good by end of chapter.
Yes.
No pause or nothing. Go straight into Rurouni Kenshin, which is a great manga in and of itself.
Yeah, I was really impressed by, especially the art. We don't get a lot of Sora in these opening. It's not even a whole chapter, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's like half of one.
Really truncated.
But this page especially, I feel like you get to see the gambit of their art style here.
The only thing
really
lacking,
stylistic panels.
It's supposed to be in color.
Yes. This is a constant for manga. I just don't even bother anymore. But I really like that panel of the sword. I think it shows really good motion.
Yeah.
Good color. Good figure work.
Yeah.
Super dynamic. I was impressed from the get-go. I was ready to like this. I've never read Rurouni Kenshin, so...
Yeah. I think Kenshin gets a little lost in the details here, but...
Yes.
That's okay.
It also is supposed to be in color, so I'll give him some leeway.
And then What a dynamic, right? Here's him killing people and looking evil.
Yeah, very grimy, gritty page.
And then it's back to like
YuYu Hakusho
or something. Yeah, something where you can just see the light in his eyes and the characters are happy and everything's falling.
This is just Keiko.
Relaxed.
I've seen this page of Keiko.
Doesn't look like Keiko at all. All right. We got Rurouni Kenshin for a little while.
Yeah.
And I agree with Chris. Most of the immediate impression of this is, wow, the art is really good.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and the anime suffers from this even more than the manga does, the manga doesn't really... It kicks off kind of hard with this guy. But it then goes to being a pretty slice-of-life kind of manga for a while as they build up the cast and stuff. And it's not as entertaining as like YuYu Hakusho is in that regard, because YuYu Hakusho kind of does the same thing. And that's not to be surprising, because I think if we read correctly, that Togashi is one of the guys who's helping the Rurouni Kenshin guy.
I don't think so.
It was two dudes. It was like
I think it's Oda
the One
and
Piece
Shaman
guy
King
and the
guy.
Naruto guy.
Shaman King.
Okay, the One Piece and the Shaman King guy. Anyway, man, these guys are taking nods from each other because Rurouni Kenshin's one of those manga that's just been in circulation forever.
Right.
And yeah, it's really good. I would keep reading this if this were in the Jump.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway from this. We've been talking about how Rurouni Kenshin is going to show up as a mainstay shortly, and we kind of get the rug pulled out from under us with this volume. Maybe it's the next part or the opening. They mentioned that they're not going to be serializing it for a while.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be releasing the volumes in stores.
Yeah. In fact, I'm under the impression that I don't think they do serialize this. I think Hikaru no Go is the one that we're going to be dealing with for a while. Can I also say, it's not great. It's really not great. I think that they're grabbing that up because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so successful. They're like, we need another game anime so we can do more game anime stuff. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I was baffled when I saw that was the one coming to Jump, because, like, there's so many other better sports manga even you could put in that are more relatable to kids, that kids would probably have a better frame of reference for.
Yeah.
I just found out Hajime no Ippo has never been translated into English officially until, like, this year. They're currently doing it. And that would be a pretty good one to throw in here.
Yeah.
Ippo is very iconic. It's a good art style. Kids understand boxing.
Yeah.
You have no idea why we're going with
There's a huge list of manga I would have chose before this one. And some of them even come after Hikaru no Go. But
Bleach? I cannot believe Bleach is still not in here.
Yeah. I don't know how far they even are in Bleach.
Bleach starts around the same time as Naruto. They're well in.
Right. It must be somewhat popular over there, right?
Yeah.
But in any case, we made it to Naruto already.
Yes.
And the big thing that I want to say about this particular chapter is I like the way that Kishimoto, he's trying to like put a subtle lesson for the readers, but he's wrapping it up in ninja so well that if you're not paying attention, you won't even realize that there's a lesson to be learned here. Because the ninja lesson itself he's teaching to the kids is interesting and intriguing by itself. Which is he's just trying to teach these kids how to control their chakra.
Right.
And Naruto, is not doing well, and even Sasuke is not doing well, and then what's her face?
She excels at it.
Yeah, but she's
Sakura. Sakura, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple stuff, but there's little other story beats going on that they cut to, like this little thing with these people in their tree area.
Something's going on somewhere.
Yeah, well, here's the thing too: is they're even here they're really not telling you much.
No,
like you get introduced to this obviously mafia-looking dude and his two bodyguards, and then all that happens here real quick is this bodyguard puts down the other two bodyguards. And then the mafia man gets mad and leaves.
Yes.
And you're like, okay. And this was the dude who first menaced our heroes.
Yeah, the bridge build. The other guy is the guy trying to kill the bridge builder.
Yeah, and so he's trying to he's being protected and stuff, and that'll come back around, I guess, eventually. But then we cut back to the kids, and they're not learning shit.
Yeah.
And Kakashi's getting fed up to some degree, and then we end the chapter. And then we have this cool. Like One Piece-ish, just drawing of nonsense.
Yeah.
Very cute. We open with Sakura, who's got the day off, and she must, even though I find it unbelievable that Kakashi wouldn't find something else for her to work on. But she's got the day off to focus on guarding this guy, which was not something he was worried about yesterday when he had all of his kid ninjas and himself in the forest. So she's got the day off. She's just supposed to hang out. And she's doing so, but she's taking it very literally. So she does follow this guy around town.
I really like the town. I think it has a cool layout and it looks very interesting.
Yeah, and I still am kind of under the impression this still might have not been done by Kishimoto. This might have been his assistants doing this, which is pretty cool. If it was the assistants, there's definitely some. I owe you guys some thanks for drawing something pretty pleasing to the eye here.
For sure, and it really gives the settings a sense of tangibility, I find.
Yeah. I'm really kind of...
We know where we are.
I'm really kind of going kind of slow in Naruto here just because of... There's a lot of things that get set up in this particular chapter.
Yeah.
These particular chapters, I should say. And even small things like this, like Sakura doesn't take shit. This dude grabs her butt real quick.
Yeah.
And he just kicks the hell out of her. And then the dude that she's bodyguarding is like, well, I didn't expect that to happen. And then she turns around, a little kid, does the same thing. The kid's hand is right near her butt. She turns around and then just gives the kid some snacks. So she knows when to turn it on. She knows when to turn it off. Mm-hmm. She's very
I guess, mature in that
Not
way.
just that, but she knows her chakras are aligned, so she knows her energies are flowing well. She knows what a bad touch is, what a good touch is, things like that. They're really subtle things. And then you get back to what we can call the action for this chapter, and it's still interesting because here we are. We got Naruto, like, Guri's still higher than me, that jerk is still climbing, and even the audience by now, having read 12 chapters of Naruto by now, we know that this is not what Naruto should be thinking, right? He should be thinking, I need to do better for my own reasons. This is about me, not him, and I hope he's doing well too.
Or how can what he's doing help me as well? How can we work together?
And he's not figuring it out. But like a page later, or like a page and a half later or something, he focuses on something else, and then Sasuke turns to him, and Sasuke figures it out. He's like, no, I actually, can you just tell me what Sakura told you? Yeah. So Sasuke's the one actually reaching out for teamwork and taking a lesson from what Kakashi had told them earlier.
Right.
But, again, this says a lot about these characters and what's going on, what's happening.
They're very fleshed out by this point.
Yeah.
And you kind of understand their dynamic and
then
how they're gonna communicate.
They go out to dinner, which is nice because it's not just Sasuke and Naruto, and it's not just Sakura because Sakura did well and they didn't or whatever. Kakashi brings them all out. Not just that, but they're out with the bridge builder and his wife, presumably, and his kid, presumably, who then we find out, like, it's not his wife, it's the kid's mother, and the kid's father's dead.
Yeah, but it's also not his father. They make a note that it's like a metaphorical father type of thing.
I wouldn't say metaphorical, but it's his stepdad.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And they really go through and give us this background. There's like a whole flashback in this chapter about it. And I don't really understand the importance yet, but that just means that they're going to bring this back around eventually. Poor kid got, like, it's a pretty sad story. These bullies throw his dog in the water. Kid can't swim. Dog is just drowning. Kid doesn't know what to do.
And then the dog learns to swim.
Well, not even. Then the bullies are like, why aren't you saving your dog? Here, let us help you. They push him in the water. Now he can't swim. Dog can't swim. Both of them are drowning. Dog figures it out, leaves his ass, which was, this was unclear. I thought there was like a rope here for some reason, just because of the way the panel worked. I thought he was like maybe swimming in his steam or something too.
Yeah.
But no, he's drowning, and then he gets lucky. This beach asshole decides to save him and become his dad.
Pretty much. He just decides that he's weak and wants to help him out.
Yeah, and it's all nice, and then eventually the guy is such a sweet dude, such a good dude that he goes and like sacrifices himself in a flood to save the city.
That's not where he dies. He gets killed on a cross, basically.
Oh, right. Right.
He's some sort of.
Right, he's such a good dude that he's too good of a dude, and so the bad guys go and kill him to set an example.
Yeah, I think
and it's this mafia guy from earlier. Right?
I think it's that he's fishing. I think it has something to do with him, like, taking exports that technically belongs to him.
Okay.
It's some bullshit like that.
It doesn't really matter much. He's dead. No. He's dying.
Just showing off the general cruelty of this guy, really making us hate this dude specifically.
Yeah, who's hanging out with ninja bodyguards and shit.
Yeah.
And so also the takeaway from this is Naruto feels sorry for this kid. And is like, I want to show this kid that heroes still exist in the world, even though his father was killed. And so that's nice.
Yeah. It's very shonen stuff.
That's nice, yeah. This was a great chapter. This was all well drawn. I went through this. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to like go and read Naruto all the way through in a way just because of how much I'm enjoying this now. Really well-written stuff. Really well thought-out stuff. And then, just like the other chapter, they just go right into One Piece over here.
Yeah, which is fine.
We're moving right along, as I like to say. Chapter 21 of One Piece, I'm almost sad that I've read 21 chapters of this thing. It has not gotten any better in 21 chapters. There have been a few that are better chapters than others, but this is not one of them.
Yeah.
But, as usual, I enjoy the beginning image more than I enjoy the rest of the chapter.
Yeah,
it's cool hanging out with the tiger and stuff. And then what's really odd and out of nowhere, right, is there's some color in this particular chapter of One Piece that they didn't tell us we were going to get. It's right in the middle there. Anyway, so we open this up. after a great couple chapters of Yu-Gi-Oh, after a great couple chapters of Naruto.
After a good chapter of Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah, and we get this, and it's just a dud, I'm going to be honest.
They run. This is the chapter where they leave.
They go.
And that's about it.
Yeah, they're like, we're leaving, okay, we're leaving.
And they do this is a very One Piece thing where they get kicked out of town, but the guy they help is like, you bastard pirates, I love you! And then the little dog they helps them escape.
Yeah.
At this point, this is very tropey for me, and it has none of the things that excite me about One Piece, so I'm just like...
Yeah, you know what I wanted to say about Naruto that I went over?
Let's go back to Naruto.
Let's go back to this better manga.
Yeah.
These two characters, these two bodyguard characters that are guarding this dude, they reminded me of One Piece villains.
Oh.
Right, the way that they look. Where are these guys? These guys, right? They look like part of Buggy's crew.
Okay.
They just look kind of clownish.
Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna... I don't think that's insulting or anything.
No, I wasn't trying to insult him. I really think that that's outside of the normal Naruto villain. Like, how about
playing with like a different set of tools?
Yeah, or like compared to like the first guy that we saw on the bandages and all the flowing, or the twins that.
And
was
also
super
they're jobbers. So
they end up being jobbers?
What, the two guys he beats?
The two bodyguards.
Yeah, the little kid scares them off.
The bodyguards there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The little kid scares them off. He's like, you guys are chumps. Get out of here.
Yeah, all right, we're moving along with One Piece. And then One Piece gets broken up by this out of nowhere.
I thought this was earlier. I was like waiting for this.
It gets broken up out of nowhere.
Not to say anything about this in particular. Why is it here?
They chose the worst moments in this jump so far to like break things up. Like this is not a. This was okay. This is a fine place.
Yeah.
But there was a point where like Yu-Gi-Oh goes right into One Piece. One Piece goes right into Naruto.
I thought One Piece was done because
or whatever.
We end the arc here.
Yeah.
Or, the buggy. I think it's Orangetown they're at. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Ends here. They leave.
It seems like it is, and then you just get more One Piece out of nowhere. This is more Rurouni Kenshin stuff explaining characters. And that doesn't even matter anymore because this isn't making it back in here.
Right. I actually read this because we know we're not getting in here. I didn't learn anything.
No, it's just about it. You're going to learn about this character through reading the manga, so you don't need this stuff. This is cool. It's like a little bit of like a...
Almost more slice of life YuYu Hakusho.
Yeah, I almost wanted to say not John Constantine-ish even. Like, there's just a dude, he's missing a hand... And so he channeled that hand to be like a demon hand, and he uses it to kill demons when they come to his school.
Yeah, and he's like a teacher.
The art on this page looked really sweet.
It does. Yeah.
And it says it's pretty successful in Japan, 31-volume manga. Mm-hmm. So that's huge. So, if you like this kind of stuff, get into it. I don't know about Demon Teacher Hand. I don't know if that's up my alley as much. I can't even get into One Piece.
I don't even know if this is out. Like, half these things... I keep learning how few jump manga that are popular have been actually translated. There's a good portion.
Yeah, I will say in Manga Explorer, they don't always include that they've even bothered to put this anywhere.
You can tell they haven't. It's all still in kanji. This is the fucking Japanese cover to Rush Jump or something.
So this is one of the more interesting pages in this jump, but you can't get this.
No, you can read some 13-year-old's Google translated scans of this.
Yeah, at best. There's a plug for the Dot Hack trading card game. I didn't even know that they had. Look at this ad too. Forget Yu-Gi-Oh! Lose Pokemon. Drop DBZ. Come play with
Dot
me.
Hack.
Black Rose. Get out of here.
What the hell
I'm going
is
to play
this?
Dragon Ball Z. It's more fluff. There's a Monster Rancher ad. Monster Rancher is a lot of fun. I ain't gonna shoot on this game.
This is kind of cool. If you're, I mean, it's kind of too late for this.
Yeah, Baby's first Shonen Jump volume graphic novel pack. Here's some DVDs for Yu-Gi-Oh!
Alright, now we're back to One Piece.
And we're back to One Piece out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on anymore. Yeah, well, again, I love this. Like, what's even look at this liquid. It's supposed to be, like, doughy or something, because they're making...
I think they're making mochi, yeah.
They're, and this guy's chewing it, but it's, like, getting slant... It's so funny. This is great. I like that they kind of look like the members of Run DMC a little bit. Yeah, good stuff.
It might be the Rabbit King. This is, do you remember that Dragon Ball chapter where Goku sends the rabbits to the moon to make mochi?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
all based on like a
make mochi, but he does send that rabbit to the moon.
Yes, It's all based on like a Japanese folklore or something, so I think it's based on that.
And then here's some really consistent colors with the actual anime. I was impressed.
Yeah.
I think almost everything stays the same. It's a weird flex that he chose to make this dude's thing green.
His hair?
His hair and his shirt.
Yeah.
And probably some other stuff he likes.
Yeah.
Here's some more nothing. They like go to this island. There's a dude stuck in a treasure chest, and
I think his design's funny.
And they leave him alone, and he stays there. And then
he wants to though, I guess, because there's weird animals, and he is attached to them or something.
It doesn't matter. I'm sure this never ever comes back up. This feels like filler before filler. Like this is original filler. Yes. Or the writer didn't know what to put here. So
the best thing.
This is the funniest part of this is that this dude he looked so abnormal when he was younger that it makes this like image of him look
normal.
Yeah.
He's already built for the afro.
Yeah. It's very humorous. So the one note, even though I don't have my notes here, the one note I know that I took down was this works better as an anime. I'm tired of reading this, but like as a cartoon, this particular chapter would have been hilarious to watch.
Yeah.
To see them like animate these like ridiculous looking animals and stuff too.
Yeah,
like,
the rabbit snake and pig lion and stuff.
There's plenty of them in this direction. But like in this dude, all this stuff is really really funny, but it's just annoying to read because there's not enough stuff here. YuYu Hakusho and Naruto are filled with so much stuff that this feels like an affront to Shonen Jump.
I think it's really funny you say that because as he goes on, Oda's going to take not enough stuff to mean I need like 10 panels on this page. That man, I like One Piece, but there is too much going on in a page. It takes me as long to read a chapter of One Piece as most comics I read for the show.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just very bloated.
I think maybe one of the reasons that is the case is the guy. Or not just the guy doesn't want to be doing this anymore, and it just like is providing him a paycheck, and there's not much he could do about that other than continue doing this. But I think that this is, and he knows this. I think that this is really being made for the anime now more than anything.
Yeah,
and it already seemed like it was being made for an anime from the get-go. So now there's a book. Why does he even bother trying that hard at all? Yeah. If this is him trying, and he managed to squeeze this much success out of this much trying, it's only going to go downhill from here.
No.
And so this is the dud in here. This I would say was worse than Shaman King, which is saying a lot.
I think Shaman King was all right.
Yeah, Shaman King was all right. We're probably going to blow through Shaman King too.
I didn't even write it down. I got One Piece, nothing. Didn't even write Shaman King.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I'm sorry, Jump fans. We're burnt out on Jump now. 11 issues in, this is not as entertaining. What's happening is we're just gravitating towards the ones that we like. We already know we like them. We've seen some of this other stuff. Chris, I think you said that you didn't read Shaman King until we started doing this.
Yeah.
So Shaman King would be the exception. But I've been introduced to all this stuff before.
Well,
you've been introduced to all this stuff except for Shaman King. And
I didn't read Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like Yu-Gi-Oh!
And yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is sweet. But this thing just is not... This manga is not weighty enough, I think, is what it is. It's really I got a cool story to tell him, so I'm going to tell it. Yeah. And that being said, there are a lot of lessons that you could take out of this that he spices into here, almost as well as Kishimoto does with ninja stuff. But it just doesn't. The characters are not.
I think
it's engaging. You don't know enough about them. Maybe they're not relatable.
And the one who is kind of annoying.
Yeah. But it's got some really cool art.
It's just like
and cool concepts.
If this was my first shonen, I'd probably dig this. But I've read all of this in a better manga before.
Right.
It's very tropey.
Right. there's a lot of just battle, and we were talking about like they had names for their power, spirit channeling. You know,
that's the catchphrase.
It's really gimmicky, which might take away from it and stuff. But it's also got a lot of style to it too. You know,
no, like, for sure. This is what is the art is probably the good in this manga.
Yeah, and the concept is really good, and when he chooses to like do cartooning and stuff too, he's also it's really strong. So you can see why it has made it this far, and it's such a it's good. It's a good read, but I feel like maybe they should open up with this manga every month.
Yeah, I definitely am a lot more lenient on the first manga. Around when I'm getting to the middle, I'm like, all right, guys.
Yeah.
Can I read Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah. So really great art, really great dictation of how he uses background, not background lines, speed lines, all that good manga stuff, all of the good textures and stuff you want to see, and poses are really sweet. The only thing that's lacking is like, you know, we've been battling like the same person for 4 or 5 chapters too, that's another manga trope for sure. But
you have to like really get us invested in that battle first.
I don't know why I'm still here even.
Like, I feel like
we've kind of
we're going to have this in Naruto, too, eventually. And I feel like you're going to feel a lot more lenient there, because you've had all this time to build up this conflict, the villain already, characters' abilities, the stakes of the conflict.
Way more invested in the characters there.
You're going to be like, if Naruto loses, how's he going to help this kid?
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm invested in, like, I know Naruto's never going to lose. Or he may lose, but he'll get back up, you know. But okay, Sasuke he's getting a lot of time in this book for no reason that seems incredibly unclear to me. I know more or less what happens because I'm 30-something years old.
Yeah.
But I don't know exactly what happens. And
you
so
sure thought Kakashi died, too, so there's a lot of things.
At some point, I thought he died. So, like, seeing this go where it's going is way more interesting, and I feel like Sakura eventually starts playing the background a whole lot more, which is totally
she already
fine.
Is a little bit.
Yeah, she already is, but you can tell that she could be a third thing that we're going to be paying attention to. He could even pull this around, and we think Sasuke's going to end up being the bad guy. No, Sakura somehow ends up being the bad guy or something. That's not how this goes. But
and
it's
not
at
only
a
that, they all
stage.
have different strengths too. Like in Shaman King, I guess Anya, or is her name Anya?
His wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
She has her own strengths, but does Manta?
Yeah.
Is this Dragon Lady going to be a main
And
character?
how much of the wife have we even seen? You know?
She's done one thing, and it's kind of cool.
Just now, recently. Yeah. And Manta hasn't really done anything but be whiny and
got
supportive.
A sword.
And
which is supportive.
You know, they're just not characters I'm invested in at all. And here you are, you know, flexing how cool they are in front of me. And the only thing that I really find cool about them is their designs and all the fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's fine, but it's not as good as the other stuff. And I mean, if you think about it in the context of popular culture, that's what's going on.
This one doesn't have a finished TV anime. They never get to the end. There's an end of Shaman King. They never animate it.
Right. And also, like, the dude who makes Shaman King, his name is escaping me now, has made other manga, too.
Takei?
So, yeah, something to
Hiroyuki Takei.
So, this guy's successful, and his manga's successful, and it's good. It's just not... It's not so good that it's become world famous over and over and over again.
Right. I will say, every time I go to Barnes & Noble, they have Shaman King.
It's one of your
It's
big
a
staples. Yeah. Because, and you're so right, Chris. If this was like your first manga, this would be sweet. It would introduce you to how manga works.
Right.
What the style looks like, what the simple line looks like, how the progression of art and the progression of the story looks like. And then maybe you'll go and grab Yu-Gi-Oh! And, you know, maybe after that you'll grab One Piece. And then you'll grab Naruto. And then you'll grab Dragon Ball Z. And then you'll stop. Or you'll grab YuYu Hakusho and you'll start going down a really deep, deep hole. Yeah. So, but this has a lesson at the end, and it's like, you know, everybody deserves redemption, and there's something in there for everybody, and even if you have a relationship that doesn't work, there's still love there, and all that good stuff, and, you know, there's still a lot to be taken out of this fairly simple story.
Yes.
You know, and so, you know, hats off to Takei for nailing that even still, but boy, is there a whole lot more in everything else. Dragon Ball Z doesn't even have that much more. This is just like... high,
it looks cool,
high tier sci-fi, basically.
Yeah,
like this dude is absolutely killing
I'll
it.
go sci-fi horror. I think there's a lot of, especially in the first couple chapters, I think it's kind of spooky.
You're so right. You know, I wanted to like this image alone says it all.
Yeah,
because if you look at the line work here, there isn't a straight line on the whole page. This does not line up with this. These are two different heights. This bulb is bigger on the side than that one. This is all, and you know what? You know what, Jump lovers? It's all on purpose.
Yes.
It's all there because Akira Toriyama probably subconsciously knows that he needs to sell the horror in this image. And so subconsciously, he's probably drawing this to look horror. He's already tired of drawing Dragon Ball Z by the time he's gotten to Cell. He's already sick of doing this monkey shit, all right? But he's going through and he's putting all this effort into like making this thing look freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
And he nails it, man. He does such a good job on this one page that, and you know what's funny too is if this were in color, it would take away from that.
Yes.
The color on Cell is so bright and vibrant that it makes Cell doesn't look horrifying at all. If I was going to color this, it would probably still be mostly blacks. Maybe a couple reds, purples, blues, but like not green and orange.
Yeah.
Good God. But the reason for it, though, Akira Toriyama's a man who still likes humor. Also, he wants to make people laugh more than he wants to scare people, for sure.
Yes.
And so making this bug-looking creature look like a bug-looking creature from space probably made the guy laugh.
And he's going to evolve into like a man, sort of.
Or his editors were like, you're scaring people too much.
I cannot believe his editor called him and was like, this sucks, do something better.
Yeah, I don't really understand the manga editors all the time. But
we mentioned 17 and 18 are great villains too. And 16, like just how they build those characters up.
Yeah.
It was really working.
Yeah. They could have did a lot more with those characters before they had Cell come around and suck them up.
Yeah,
but
and become less interesting.
Here's the splash page that I'm sure Chris was talking about earlier that looked better than the splash page in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, there's like 3 of them.
And I'm not going to disagree, but I really like the grid that was in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, it's solid.
And it really used the entirety of the page, and probably just because of the way it was printed, it's not actually using the entirety of the page. But they didn't. Toriyama does not really know how to build up suspense that well, it seems, in this manga, which is ridiculous to me to say, because he builds up all of this like Frieza stuff forever and ever and ever.
And he does until here, because how we build up the Gingertown Massacre is kind of it's a couple chapters where we get hints of something really freaky going on, something really un-Dragon Ball like.
Right.
And it's like it's just crawling at the back of your head as Krillin and Gohan are hanging out, or it's Trunks and Gohan.
Yeah.
And the androids are hanging out.
I mean, even as soon as Trunks shows up and kills Frieza in like a chapter, you're like, this is strange, and it just keeps getting stranger. But he doesn't slow it down at all. It just keeps getting stranger, and this is something he could have really made way more horrifying. And so in the anime, it's not horrifying at all. No. Cell just comes up, and you're like, oh, another big bad evil dude for them to fight, sick. But in this, he's building more of like a, what is this thing? But only barely, because by the time this chapter's over, you know exactly what he's about. You know where he's going. You know why.
He explains everything.
And it works really well the way he does it. There's not a beat here lost in like Piccolo forcing context, because at the end of the chapter, Piccolo like pulls a fast one. It's like, gotcha good, haha. Yeah. But
come on with this stuff. He's going for it here. This man gets drunk.
I wanted to point out the specific panel. This looks like it's like shadowed like crazy, but it's just a bunch of speed lines. Yeah. To give that, like, you concentrate right on this like nose area of Piccolo's face.
One thing I will say, to give the anime a little props, the sound they give Cell when he moves is really good. Yeah. That little crunch he has.
Yeah, like a zombie.
Yeah. That one's not as good, but it's still cool.
Yeah. This chapter, too, is a lot of really big panels as well. There's not a lot being said. It's being done in the visual language more than anything. Which is totally, this dude, if there's anybody capable of doing visual language stuff, it's Toriyama. Things start to get really strange. They don't know what's going on. They feel his power level and stuff. And then, boom, this is the page.
This is my favorite.
This is great, man.
I love Piccolo. I love this shot.
Yeah.
It's just rad.
I feel like this is one of those pages, too, that it could be colored 3 or 4 different ways and still look really, really cool.
It has been. When they did Superhero, they animated this panel for the little flashback. So it's also in the TV anime.
That's sweet.
It looks pretty sick.
I believe it. Moving right along here, Dragon Ball Z is one of those mangas that we usually cruise on through just because you've probably heard this story before. You know, the big bad comes up and he's got a bunch of transformations and they got to figure out how to take him down. And they do because they're the heroes. And the anime continues and stuff of that nature. And this is one of the mangas I'd say that even set up that bar and set up what that means and set up what that is.
Yeah.
How about, like, this is a good comparison, though. Like, look at all this noise and line work and stuff between Cell and Piccolo, and then you go over here and it's calmed down a whole lot.
Yep. Nice establishing shots.
Yeah.
Going into this.
Yeah. You get all this wind and mountains in the background, some snow on the trees over here.
Yeah. On that note
and then, boom, back to all this mess.
Yeah. All this rubble, and, you know, Cell even in himself is a mess because of how much his line work takes up on the page. He's very busy. Yeah. Yeah. So, really good dynamics between these pages. Keeps you interested in the story, too. That you want to do something real quick. Okay, what's the androids up to? Okay, here's what the androids are up to. Back to the action. Keeps on going with that. It's quite a fight. Piccolo's at the top of his game here. Probably will be for the next rest of Dragon Ball Z. So, yeah.
This is actually pretty on par. And then Cell pulls out this Kamehameha that Piccolo, like, snuffs off and is like, that was weak. But then it distracts him, and then he gets sucked. The suck. Look at that. Yeah. I've seen that used for so many different purposes. Like that image. Okay. And then, like, you know, Piccolo's like, all right, now you got me. Tell me what's going to happen. And we get all of this. What is Cell? Who is Cell? Why is Cell? What is Cell? How is Cell? And he tells that he needs these androids. He's looking for the androids. And then Piccolo goes, yeah, well, you're a punk. And just, like, creates a new arm. And he's like, this was a trick. He's like, you should have knew. You're part of me. You knew I could do this. You're an idiot.
Right.
And then we end Dragon Ball Z right there. Right as I would like some more.
I'd like to say, one thing they do set up here, Cell mentions that he killed a version of Trunks who killed the androids.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, like, waiting for the hat turn here. Where you're like, okay, Cell is somehow stronger than we know he is. You know, where's the hat drop coming in?
Well, what's confusing even though is, okay, so he gets rid of Trunks, right?
Yes.
But then he reverts back to insect form to steal Trunks' time machine.
Because he's too big or something?
You know, but, like, there's still a Trunks floating around here, right? And didn't Trunks go back to his timeline, then come back here?
Yeah.
So there's definitely some time shenanigans that aren't lining up.
There's
aren't lining up.
First timeline Trunks, who, like, goes back in time, talks to Goku, goes through his life, eventually gets strong enough to beat the androids, Cell kills him. And then there's the same Trunks who decides to go back in time. I'm
You're
explaining
confusing
this
yourself.
Yeah.
Trust me, we're not going to spend any more time on this. It's confusing, and Akira Toriyama doesn't care. So
right, he loves Terminator.
Moving on. Dragon Ball Z is great, man. We can never say enough about how awesome this is. We keep enjoying it more and more, all the same, every time we go through it.
Yep.
So, you know, that's incredible stuff. To YuYu Hakusho, a solid, strong chapter of YuYu Hakusho. This is another one that I'd use that term, we're paying the rent a little bit. We're doing something so that we can further where we're actually going in this manga. And that's with Hiei. We need this short little dude.
Yeah.
Who's so, look at, like, Keiko's on the floor and is still taller than Hiei is. Poor Hiei's like 3'7".
Yeah.
Here's some solid Botan poses and stuff.
I really dig she's using the panel as her seat there. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I didn't even. He does things so smooth in this book that you won't even notice how creative his stuff is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looked like a bench, but it really is just the left side of that panel. Good eye. Yeah, I love this book. This is like some funny interactions real quick.
This is the only thing in this entire manga that annoyed me. This panel, this like word bubble flow is a little annoying. You have to read it like this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But if you know that he builds his pages like as one image in a way, it's not as difficult. Yeah, I don't. But you're right. That could have been helped. That could have been done a little bit easier. Like push these over, pop that there. Keiko's gonna get stolen by Hiei after she's all jealous over Botan, and then they're gonna have to go and find Hiei. And so they find Hiei, and they fight Hiei, and he gets a bunch of eyeballs, and this gets really demonic really quick, and the art gets really busy really quick, and it stays busy and demonic for a while. And this is like just Togashi showing off how cool both these characters are, how cool Yusuke is because he can like channel this like inner Saiyan power out of nowhere and be super faster than a demon even, and then showing how cool Hiei is because Hiei will keep fighting even though he's kind of losing every time. And then he whips out this design, which I have to say is lost to the story that is Yu Yu Hakusho.
For sure.
This design, this may be the last time we even see Hiei in this
definitely
form.
is. I feel like later they say he just got too strong for it, which is like a silly
He should have built up to this.
Yeah.
This is so cool looking, all these eyes. It is, I will say, it does look like he's super easy to defeat this way, though, because he has so many weak points now.
Yeah.
You just poke him in one of the eyeballs or something. And funny enough, Botan eventually even throws Yusuke a bone. That his weak point is it's Kurama, sorry. Kurama just shows up out of nowhere and it's like, get out of here, I'll take this blade. And then Kurama tells Hiei like his weakness is his main third eye.
Yeah, the Jagan eye.
And so Yusuke does some tricky shit and fools him, and then blows a wad of spirit juice into his third eye. The first one misses, and then it like hits a mirror, and it comes back, and then it hits him or whatever.
Yeah.
So they even go through the effort of explaining that, where in Naruto they've been doing some graphs in Naruto, actually.
Yeah.
So I can't complain about that too much. And then he just, like, kicks him in the face. Simple, effective, cute, funny. Great usage of art right there.
Very in character, too.
Yeah, right? Yusuke wants to offend you and beat you at the same time. How better to do that?
And with a kick to the face. Not even a kick to the face. He just, like, holds him there.
Yeah. Yeah, he's floating. Yeah, so, and then, we kind of just wrap this up. Kurama is on probation, and Hiei's going to go to jail, and Yusuke's got more missions to do soon, and gets Keiko, and they even tell us what happens to little Koenma, who was tasking, he was tasking Yusuke to bring all these items back, which he did, but they weren't in the best condition, so he gets punished anyway. And that's the end of Yu Yu Hakusho. All these chapters are ending on such, like, there could be more here, but there isn't.
I do kind of wish we set up the next part, which I think is it the castle?
It's coming. We gotta, like, redeem Hiei somehow. I don't remember how we do that.
He just shows up.
And then we also gotta bring Kuwabara back into the fold of things.
You're right. It's the Genkai tournament, I think, is next.
Something like that. But what I will say, Rando. Yeah, Rando. Yeah. But what I will say, man, is it's not just Yu Yu Hakusho. Like, I felt like Yu-Gi-Oh ended on a thing where there's definitely
ended in medias.
There's supposed to be more. Dragon Ball Z is supposed to have more. Like, this whole Shonen Jump is about having more. And then they give you this really final chapter of SandLand to close it up. Like, if you felt like you didn't get enough, then you can get enough out of SandLand here.
I'm glad we ended on SandLand too. This was a good.
It was a good end.
Yeah.
It came right around, and the chapter it's another one of those chapters where it doesn't actually have a lot going on, because it's just finishing.
A lot of resolution and a lot of action.
And the only thing I will say about this is pretty much all we get out of waiting for the kid to transform or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a transformation. He just gets super powerful or whatever. And so you get the bad guys, they're holding water. We've known this the whole series. And so this guy's going to take down the bad guys, more specifically this giant beetle dude, so that way our main character over here can go and shoot down the evil, like, Dune bad guy looking guy.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen because this guy's about to, like, drop a bomb on our main character. And in the midst of dropping that bomb, he gets shot by his own sergeant, who is on our main character's side because he was honest with him a couple chapters back about what had happened in the original war that started the whole water
Scarcity.
The water scarcity, the water war. And then this chapter ends, and then this is the last chapter. These are really short chapters, too, I want to add.
Yeah.
This is the last chapter. It's called The River. And it's because they're going to take this dam that they found and turn it into a river.
Yeah.
What I don't understand about this particular chapter is... I don't know how this solves the water crisis either, because now there was some waters, but now it's being spread out, you know, whatever. That's not my problem. Here's my problem. Where are they? The swimmers. Well, why is anybody excited about them?
They help pop open the dam.
That's not what it looks like, though, right?
No, that's just what they say.
That's, like, broken.
They're talking about they have these, like, certain tank shells that they have to fire to break it in. They only have, like, 4 of them, and they use all of them. And
they're surprised because it got hit, and then it starts flowing.
Yeah.
And then these guys go, oh.
A lot of water.
Amazing, this is great. We did it, but who in the world? And then the swimmers, they must have followed us. Like, it's like describing that here's a payoff for these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is strange. Here's a weird centaur man.
Yes. He's a demon, though, so...
Yeah, they do what they want. And then some relaxed, like, pencil and ink drawings from Akira Toriyama to...
Still good tank.
Yeah,
like, he has not stopped drawing that thing.
No, to finish off the end of our chapter here. And everybody has a happy day. They even set up that they could do more here. And there is, I'm sure, more SandLand to be rectified. Mm-hmm. And they introduced, like, there's some more demons over here. Yeah. And he's got friends that are ready to help him out and stuff. He's
got abilities he can learn. He doesn't know how to teleport or whatever.
And then they go, and there's swimmers over there, and then it's the end. So there won't be any more of this, because that's how Akira Toriyama does, but there could be.
Sure, yeah.
If Shonen Jump were to do something about it, I suppose. Here's some fluff. This was some pretty bad fluff, too.
Yeah.
We're just going to skip over
They basically
this.
make fun of themselves, too.
It's like a bunch of, like, Shonen Jump editors, like... thinking that they're jokes or thinking that they're funny or something.
Yeah.
The only rewarding panels being like over here, these characters like thanking you for reading or whatever.
I do like that.
And then here's some more Yu-Gi-Oh fluff. I go over this every Shonen Jump that they do this. This is like a little Yu-Gi-Oh puzzle. You have certain cards that you can use. You're supposed to get yourself out of here. It's pretty silly and ridiculous. It's not going to help you in this game at all. Especially not now, 20 years ahead, where we're ahead of wherever the state of this game used to be. Then here's a deck profile, but they're not telling you that we got this from, like the championship, or we did a deck profile on somebody who won in something somewhere. No,
right.
This month's deck was constructed without cards from the latest expansion, Legacy of Darkness. They're just using the cards that are out right now, and they're building something that does something, and it might work, it might not work. It's just, like, it's fun if you're into Yu-Gi-Oh! And when I say that, it's fun if you're into the card game that is Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're not into that stuff and you're buying Shonen Jump because you want to read manga, which is the right reason to buy Shonen Jump, this isn't going to be great. And even as a person who was into Yu-Gi-Oh!, I didn't really fully understand what was going on here. Because they don't really... These 4 paragraphs are not enough to explain how this deck works, how you're supposed to play it, what the matchups are going to be, what the side deck looks like. There's just not enough here. It's too much fluff. It's just there because they know a lot of people are doing the card game. They want to put something in here for us.
Yeah, my eyes kind of glaze over when I read that.
This is more nonsense. Old art, fan art for the Jump Pirate guy.
Yeah.
It's a super rad Gundam ad. And it's super rad because they're just using the actual action figure. This is what this thing looks like.
Yeah.
Gundam figures look so dope. I love them. I would literally buy every one of them.
Right.
So I don't buy any of them because I know once I
And
start,
a lot of them are model kits too.
I can't
so
stop.
you have to.
I wouldn't do the model kits. I would
Okay.
just do the action figures. But yeah, this might actually be a model kit.
The model kits are usually the better ones.
Yeah, that's for sure. You just have to have a lot of time,
But yeah,
patience.
that's like
and
18 hours
some
minimum.
skill or something at that stuff. Here's a video game that I glanced over. I didn't feel like this was necessary to read. There's no real reason they even say that they're putting in this in here. So this could just be a paid ad that they decided to attach an article to.
Yeah.
You're not missing anything on missing out on this. I've played a lot of PlayStation 2, and I've never heard of this game before. So for all we know, it never even got released, maybe.
Yeah.
Here is Kid Buu Saga for the Dragon Ball Z CCG.
Almost done.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at. There might be a set or two after this, and then the game is over in 2004, 2005.
Do they do an end of Z set like Pan and stuff?
There is something like that,
Okay.
but I don't remember what it's called. But
I guess we'll probably see.
Yeah, this is a sad story. This game was so much fun. It was so much more than the game and the manga was, and then it just died because they ran out of stuff when it could have kept going because of how good the game actually was. Pikmin 2, I mean, that's a Nintendo classic to this day.
Good game. Nothing I really gained from the article.
No, just, if you like Pikmin, buy the second
It's
one.
notable it's in here.
Yeah,
I guess.
well, that's definitely true. This another very clear sign of 2003.
Yep.
GameCube games are big, especially in here. We've seen a bunch of ads for GameCube and PlayStation 2, not nearly as many for Xbox.
Makes sense. This is the demographic.
Yes, so
PlayStation 2 was everyone's
if
console.
you think about it,
GameCube was kids.
Nintendo and Sony, I think, are both Japanese companies. I
Yeah.
could be wrong about Sony,
They
but
are.
I know that Microsoft is an American company.
Yeah.
So there's some clear, easier associations going on here. Then we got this ad for the GT solicitation of the DVD, the YuYu Hakusho DVD, because that's what's airing on Adult Swim right now. And this
Pretty
on
rad
Konami
VA
after that.
drawing.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, oh man. They look so good.
Yeah.
And they're so easy to look so good because the initial drawings of these characters are so sweet.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I would happily spend my money on this stuff if I had money during this time period, by the way. But my 10-year-old self was too broke and too young to be able to buy these.
Also, you're going to
Stuff
spend
there
like
help.
$300-$400 for the whole YuYu Hakusho show on the DVDs.
Because
Because how many episodes are really on
They
these?
were maybe like $20 each, and it would have like half a season.
Okay, that's not bad then.
12 episodes or something.
I've heard the horrors of the VHS tapes. They're like 3 episodes.
The Dragon Ball
For
Z
the
ones
Dragon
were
Ball
pretty
Z
bad,
ones,
but they
yeah.
had such sweet VHS art that I feel like in portion you were just buying to complete the VHS art,
Yeah.
which would show an image at the end. This is Magician's Force. We were just talking about this set earlier. They were going over the cards that were coming out in it. This is a huge set. I can't stress that enough. I have a poster of this set in the shop as we speak.
Oh, yeah.
So, big for Yu-Gi-Oh fans, and it's here because we love Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what's selling a lot of this manga. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is selling these other mangas to manga fans. Without Yu-Gi-Oh!, a lot of people that probably would have never picked up Shonen Jump in general.
Right.
To this day, when you see Yu-Gi-Oh! On stuff, it always says Shonen Jump's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
So it doesn't even say that here, but that's something they change very soon. Talking about the contest that came out of the Power, Chaos, and the Sacred Card. Oh, this is just a contest in general. Sorry. You win all these video games. You win all these video games. It's, I don't
Did
think
you
this
win,
is.
Skylar?
No, I didn't. I don't think this is still going, so don't bother to enter. Here is the, I believe, this is the GameCube one that they were advertising in the beginning.
Okay.
Again, it's a top-down, like you can see there are no cards here, there's no cards here, there's no cards here, this is not the card game. This is, if anything, this is for the manga fans. But it's even weirder, too, though, because it's like an alternate world where they're knights or something.
Oh.
And, it's weird. It's like they had a good idea for an RPG, and they were like, we're not going to be able to sell this unless we attach it
Put
to
Yugi and Kaiba in the
an
show.
IP. So let's put an IP on this. What IP will work well? Well, this one's called the King of Games right now. So let's put the King of Games on here, and that'll probably do well. And then here's an ad for the tins that I think I talked about last issue. These tins changed the game. Gave you access to Jinzo, a floodgate monster that stopped all trap cards for $20. That was bought. I bought that. Or I traded for it and I bought like this one. Doesn't matter. It happened. Moving on, another ad for Yu-Gi-Oh! Game. there might be like now 10 ads for Yu-Gi-Oh, including fluff pieces in this whole manga.
Yeah.
An obvious sign of the times and where things are at. And then here we've got the stuff to come, which of course is going to include YuYu Hakusho, Shaman King, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, and presumably
I think they said Go was starting in
Hikaru
January.
no Go. So we have made it to the end, and here's probably the last moment of what's his name, Beelzebub, that we will see, and an ad for the Legacy of Goku game.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah, again, Dragon Ball Z ad. So if it's not clear by this jump where we are at in the year 2003 in November, about to be 2004, we are getting into manga, man.
Yeah,
we are getting into manga. We are probably
DBZ's huge.
Toonami is probably huge right now. There are lots of ways to get manga through video games, through DVDs, through magazines. There's probably another manga magazine going on at the moment too. And then, like, you got to think about like Beckett. Beckett had a bunch of like Yu-Gi-Oh covers and stuff, and they were doing pricing for card games, so they're going to get involved in manga and anime.
And kind of in the background, we get to see the formation of like the modern English manga market, because all the volumes of Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, these are the same things they're still printing. The covers look nearly identical and all that.
Yeah,
they were 20 years later.
They were a little cheaper back then. They were like $8 instead of $10.
Yeah, but only by $2. Well, that's not bad.
No.
I feel like comics rose like $3 in price in the same amount of time.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, that's about all we're getting out of this one. But we got the December 2003 Shonen Jump to look forward to.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some sweet stuff in here. There's a Knights of the Zodiac manga preview that I don't remember.
Okay, that's cool.
Bonus.
That's just Saint Seiya, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Weekly Wednesday Warrior probably posted next week. Thanks for watching again. Take care.